I don't really understand how the lights are still on when the World Economic Forum said Bitcoin was going to consume all the world's electricity by 2020. It's kind of weird.
They tend to be wrong about a lot of things. But luckily, we have panels like this next one to do a lot of FUD busting from all that energy misinformation that's out there. So coming up next, we have how Bitcoin mining incentivizes renewable energy build-out.
Moderated by Natalie Brunell, host of Coin Stories and Hard Money. Please give her a very warm welcome.
All right, it's hard to follow that, but I hope you guys are ready for another awesome panel with some great experts. So I used to work in mainstream news media. That's how I transitioned into Bitcoin media content and commentary. And one of the biggest things that I see with my former industry is FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt about Bitcoin's energy use. I think it's a very important topic as we battle sort of this new narrative of ESG and just how much energy is being used by Bitcoin and what that's doing to our world. And so I'm excited to have this panel, but first we're going to have a special presentation from Jaran Mellerud. He's a research analyst at Arcane Research, and the presentation is going to be about how Bitcoin mining incentivizes renewable energy build-out. So please give a hand to Jaran.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jaran Mellerud. I'm a research analyst focusing on Bitcoin mining. And today I'm going to talk about how Bitcoin mining incentivizes renewable energy build-out. First, I'm going to explain what exactly makes Bitcoin miners unique energy consumers. Bitcoin mining is price responsive, interruptible, location agnostic, modular, and portable. This unique combination of these 5 properties makes Bitcoin miners uniquely flexible energy consumers that can solve several energy problems. I will now explain all these properties. Bitcoin miners are price-responsive energy consumers. Around 80% of the operating cost of Bitcoin mining is energy. So Bitcoin miners are always monitoring their energy price, and they're financially incentivized to respond to changes in this energy price. If a Bitcoin miner always knows its energy price, what energy price it should shut off its machines at. So if the energy price goes above this level, the Bitcoin miner will shut off its machines. Bitcoin mining is also an interruptible process. This interruptibility of Bitcoin mining becomes clear when comparing a conventional data center to a Bitcoin mining operation. On the left side here is one of Facebook's data centers. It is not interruptible. It partakes in many advanced processes that you can't easily pause, and it must also maintain uptime due to its customers. A Bitcoin mining operation, on the other hand, is interruptible. It only does one thing, solves the SHA-256 algorithm, and it sells hashes to the Bitcoin network. The Bitcoin network consists of thousands of servers around the world, and it is not dependent on any one of these servers, so these servers can shut down if they need to, and it takes less than 1 second to shut down a Bitcoin mining farm. Bitcoin mining operations are also location agnostic. A Bitcoin miner only needs cheap energy and an internet connection. This makes it possible to establish a Bitcoin mining operation practically anywhere in the world. And for the first time in history, it's possible to take the energy consumer directly to the energy source. A Bitcoin mining operation can also be scaled modularly. It all depends on the number of machines. Let's say you have 5 megawatts of available energy. Okay, then you get 1,500 Bitcoin mining machines. If you have 10 megawatts, well, then scale it up to 3,000 machines. So you can exactly match your available energy with a Bitcoin mining load of the exact same size. You can also design a Bitcoin mining operation to be portable. So on the left side here, we see a portable Bitcoin mining operation where they have designed the operation inside shipping containers that are very easy and cheap to ship around. This increases the portability and the location agnosticism of mining. So the unique combination of these 5 properties makes Bitcoin miners uniquely flexible energy consumers that can be used as energy tools to solve several energy problems. One of the things Bitcoin miners can do is to incentivize renewable energy build-out. I will now talk about how Bitcoin miners can strengthen electricity grids so that we can safely integrate more wind and solar. We're in the middle of an energy transition where we replace controllable fossil fuels with non-controllable, weather-dependent renewable energy sources like wind and solar. The International Energy Agency estimates that in 2040, 42% of our electricity will come from wind and solar. So the energy supply of the future will become much more variable and weather-dependent. And in an electricity system, the demand and supply must always be in perfect balance. That only means that when the energy supply will become more variable, we need to adjust the supply after the demand, and the demand must become more flexible. The concept of a flexible energy consumer that adjusts its consumption after the available demand is called demand response. And the International Energy Agency estimates that in 2030, we need to have 500 gigawatts of demand response capacity globally. That's up from only 50 gigawatts in 2020, a 10x increase. The International Energy Agency should look to Bitcoin mining for this capacity, because Bitcoin mining is the best alternative we have for demand response. Bitcoin miners are able to instantly stop consuming during energy scarcity, and they're also financially incentivized to do so. So Bitcoin miners are phenomenal demand response resources that can help to integrate this variable renewable energy in a safe way. Bitcoin mining also improves the economics of wind and solar. A large share of wind and solar will lead to more wasted energy. Wasted energy is very, very cheap and is therefore nutrition for Bitcoin miners. Here we see a map of the development in a percentage of hours of negative power prices in the US between 2015 and 2021. During this period, the central part of the US saw a massive development of wind power. And we can see that during this period, as this wind was developed, the percentage of hours with negative power prices drastically increased. This is due to how wind bids its energy into the market at zero marginal cost of production. This is very, very negative for the economics of wind projects and also solar projects, and it can prevent the further development of such projects. One example is West Texas, which has abundant wind and solar resources. West Texas has seen a massive development of wind energy the previous years, and also now see an increasing share of solar as well. The problem is that West Texas is a desert, and it barely lives people there. So you have all this energy produced by wind and solar, but you have almost no local demand. In West Texas, there is also too little transmission lines to transport this electricity to the east part of the state. So you get all these stranded wind and solar resources when wind and solar produces at its maximum. All this previously wasted energy has led to a massive development of Bitcoin mining facilities in West Texas. As you can see on the map, most of Texas Bitcoin mining facilities are located in the west, in the middle of the desert, close to these wind and solar projects. And that's not a coincidence. Bitcoin miners are helping the economics of these wind and solar projects in West Texas. Many people talk about how Bitcoin mining incentivizes wind and solar, but I don't hear that much about how it can unlock stranded hydro and geothermal. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. Hydro and geothermal resources have several common characteristics. They are very often stranded energy sources. They require large capital investments. It's not possible to build out these energy sources in a modular way, and they're often located far from the demand. Because of this, these energy sources are often undeveloped. Let's say that you have the possibility to build a 100 megawatt hydropower plant in a region, but you have only 50 megawatt of local demand. That is not enough to justify the development of this hydropower plant. Where can you get the 50 megawatts of excess capacity you need to develop this plant? You can bring in Bitcoin miners. And by bringing in Bitcoin miners, you have enough energy demand to justify the development of this project. This will give the local population access to 50 megawatts of energy, which they otherwise would not have. This is particularly interesting in developing countries, especially in Africa. Africa has a massive energy potential. Only 11% of the hydro potential in Africa is developed, and less than 1% of the geothermal energy potential in Africa is developed. I believe that Bitcoin miners in the future can incentivize development of more hydro and geothermal projects in Africa, and thereby unlock massive amounts of energy for the continent. Yesterday, Obi talked about how Bitcoin mining in Africa already unlocks smaller scale hydro projects. But I believe that as Bitcoin becomes bigger and a bigger part of society, we will also see Bitcoin mining financing larger hydro and geothermal projects in Africa. This presentation is based on a research report published by Arcane Research 1 month ago, which is called How Bitcoin Mining Can Transform the Energy Industry. You can find the full report at arcane.no. Give it a read, and thank you for your attention.